Well, it seemed to have worked last week, so I'm gonna keep that consistent, the shorter length reviews, unless I want to talk about them more. So, I watched 10 films last week, most of them shorts because I wanted to hit a milestone movie after that. I'll get onto that when I talk about said milestone films. Anyways, onto the films, shall we? The first is a rewatch K-pop Demon Hunters. After listening to how it's done for the 300th time for 2 consecutive months, I finally decided to rewatch it, and god damn, is it even better the second time around. Yeah, great story, great characters, hilarious comedy, beautiful visuals and animation. It's the whole package. Unless some upcoming film tops this for me, I have no qualms calling this my favorite film of this year. Next is Dolittle, 2020. For being an average adventure film, this one gets too much hate, but it's not great. Maybe if the story was fleshed out more and the relationships and the arcs were more developed, it could have been something more than just standard and forgettable. But I had a good time with this. I like the characters, I like the visuals, I like the story, and I like the world that it creates. And I liked RDJ and Harry Collette in this. They had good chemistry as Dolittle and Stubbins. So I don't have any hate towards them or this film. The next 7 films are early Disney short classics. Yeah, the early Disney shorts from the Mickey Mouse era. First of them is Beezy Bee. Gotta love the bee puns. Yeah, a bear tries stealing Donald's honey at every means necessary while not trying to get caught by the ranger who guards his forest sanctuary. I'm not sure. Yeah, this one's good. The ranger is human, so that's cursed to see. Also, he's voiced by Smee from Peter Pan. So we're just hearing Captain Hook's sidekick in this, and that's just funny to hear. Yeah. And also this, as well as this being the first of the Humphrey the Bear cartoons I've watched. Yeah. And he's entertaining as much so as Chip and Dale when they're up against Donald. I think I like him a bit more than Chip and Dale, mainly because he doesn't try to abuse Donald or try to ruin his day intentionally at times. I mean, I haven't watched all of them, so I wouldn't know, but yeah, he's just fun. This is fun. I like this. Yeah. Yeah, he's as big as adults as Dale, but he's silent, so the comedy comes from more of his expressions and actions. And the animation excels at this. Also, it's nice to see a cartoon where Donald doesn't get beaten or loses outright. Next is Boat Builders. This is a fun building session between the iconic trio where they build a boat. Each have entertaining moments individually, especially Goofy, where he just is down bad for a mermaid sculpture. Also, this part was unnecessary, but the funniest part for me was when I paused the film just to get a drink, and as I did so, it paused as Donald was saying a line.
Build your own boat. All you do is put it together.
That was the funniest moment, mainly due how unintentionally it was. Also, Mickey just says they're calling the boat Queen Minnie, and Donald and Goofy just casually goes along with it. I'll be having some questions about the naming of the boat, especially if you're naming it after your girlfriend. Clock Cleaners. Again with the trio working together, only this time to clean a clock tower. Again, they have fun moments individually as well as together, especially the ending where unobtainable luck is on Goofy's side that day, where he just falls off the clock, and I'm surprised he didn't die. Though it's a Mickey Mouse cartoon, I don't think they can die. Yeah. Yeah, and especially after he went down bad for a woman clock tower bell ringer model. I swear, Goofy is just horny in these classic era Mickey Mouse cartoons. Also, Mickey and Donald was just not having their best day when doing this job. They were just being abused by the clock tower. Society Dog Show. Pluto has gotten the biggest doomy eyes from a dog I've ever seen in one of these cartoons. I'm not joking. This actually happened. The comedy is fun, the antics are entertaining, especially the ending where Pluto saves the girl dog who was down bad for him and him for her. And the judge, whilst being a bit aggressive, he had fun moments, I guess. Also, Mickey calling Donald better than the rest of the dogs. That's a real G right there. You can't fault him at that. Next is The Grasshopper and the Ants. I used to watch this one a lot when I was a youngin'. It's one of those silly symphonies where the music and the animation is synced up, and that always makes me happy. Yeah, when it happens. It's surprising to hear the old voice of Goofy coming out of the Grasshopper, but I didn't realize that when I was a kid. But it's crazy. Yeah, the story is simple, with the Grasshopper learning that you shouldn't prioritize fun over work all the time, especially when you need to work to survive. I thought that was a good message, even though I don't think people will quite agree with me on that one. Yeah, there's not much to say, but what there is sweet. Barely asleep. Humphrey the bear is at it again, only he just wants to sleep this time, so he tries his luck in Donald's bed after getting kicked out by the other bears. It's a funny one. I love the ending where Humphrey pretends to be a baby, so the bears will let him back in the cave, and so it just turns the bears staying awake trying to get Humphrey to sleep. That was a funny twist. Also, Donald didn't need to say he hated bears. That was a bit of a step too far when they did nothing to him. And that's even saying a lot, because bears are very dangerous animals. Yeah, but this is a cartoon, so they're not really dangerous in this one. The Ugly Duckling, the final short I watched before the film I actually wanted to watch. But these shorts are good, don't worry. One of the most iconic fables ever written. And here it begins with the duck parents arguing that one of them fooled around with another bird, and it led to the family breaking apart and the dad duck being a deadbeat. Or because the ugly duckling's egg was placed in the wrong nest. That all happened, and it just went straight to 11 in the first few minutes. That's funny. And that's the best part to say about this entire thing. It's sweet, it's charming, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. The ending is the best part. No, the second best part, aside from the opening. When the ugly duckling finally is found a family. That was sweet, I like that. I got through the last 7 movies just so I could watch this. Mainly because I wanted to watch this. And I watch a special movie every time I reach 100 films on Letterboxd. This was number 600. I just wanted to get through the last 7 just so I could watch this finally. This is one of those films that everyone should watch at least once. So they can understand the gravitas of the true horrors that unfolded during the Holocaust. Schindler's List. Every scene conveys the horror, whilst giving us the perspective of Schindler, as he grows from the rich, greedy businessman at the start to the man that saved over 1,000 people at the end, even if it cost him everything. This made me cry during multiple moments, and every time it happened was when it was either conveying the horrors that the Jews had to endure, or when Schindler saved the women from being persecuted in Auschwitz. The acting throughout is phenomenal. Liam Neeson does a great job as Schindler. Ben Kingsley does a great job as Stern, and Ralph Fiennes as the Nazi officer. I can't remember his name, but he does a great job, and you can see the complexity within them, even as you can see them doing the horrors or doing the good. You can see how complex they are and how human they are. It is so good. It is so impressive, and the German accents are done really well. I will say that. The directing and cinematography is it's like no other film Spielberg has ever directed before or after. No wonder this is his only Best Picture winner. And it's also a film that you would not expect someone like Steven Spielberg to direct. But he directed it, everyone adores it. You need to watch this for yourself to truly understand why it's so incredible. And it'll all be worth it in the end, when Schindler breaks down in the end, thinking he could have saved one more person. If that doesn't make you cry, the rest of the film will. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make stuff like this up. It's rich, it's raw, and despite the events that took place for this to get here, it's beautiful. To see the crowd of the Schindler Jews walking in the field, and the ending where the actors in the films, alongside the real Schindler Jews, place down rocks on Schindler's grave. I'm choking up just thinking about this. This is Spielberg's best picture. It's not my pick for number one, because that honor goes to the film that came out the same year as Schindler's List did. But it's no doubt Steven Spielberg's best film he's ever directed. And it's funny enough that his best films came out in the same year. I'm gonna need a minute, my head feels light. So, that's the ending. Anyways, rankings. So, KPop Demon Hunters, I'll give that a 9 out of 10. Dolittle, I'll give that a 6 out of 10. Beezy Bear, a 7 out of 10. Boat Builders, an 8 out of 10. Clock Cleaners, Society Dog Show, and The Grasshopper and the Ants, I'll give the first two a 7 out of 10, and the last one a 8 out of 10. Barely Asleep, a 7 out of 10. The Ugly Duckling, a 9 out of 10, and Schindler's List, a 10 out of 10. So that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and please leave a comment down below of what films you would recommend me to watch next. So yeah, that's the end of today's video. I want to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you all cried when me talking about Schindler's List, and I'll see you all later. Have a good one.